Hi, my name is David Mayo. I'm from the California Institute of Technology, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about a question I get asked quite often, which is what is the difference between a gift and a grant? And usually when I'm asked this question, it's because the person who's asking it is trying to figure out, should the sponsored research office process this award or transaction, or should it be the development office at the university? And really, if you look at it from one point of view, a gift is simply something that is given without the expectation of anything in return. And a grant, or a contract as the case may be, is something where there are expectations. It's a contractual type arrangement, and the two parties agree. One party gives money, for example, the other party gives a report, and you have an exchange of something of value. That is usually not what people are going for when they ask this question. They want to know, do I process it, or does the development office process it? I think it's a grant, they're saying it's a gift. And really what it comes down to is not, is it a gift or a grant from the IRS concept? It's who's going to process it, and the two offices have different reasons they want to manage or control that transaction. The development office is looking at it as they have a relationship with the sponsor, or from their point of view, the donor. Regardless of whether it's a gift or a grant, they want to manage this relationship, and they think that in order to manage the relationship, they also need to manage the money. That's not necessarily true, but that's often the way they look at it. The sponsored projects office is looking at it, well, this is a grant, it has some type of terms and conditions, and we need to make sure that we are abiding by those terms so that we don't upset the sponsor and we can get future funding from them. Both parties have the same goal, which is to bring money in, but they have different points of view as to why they're bringing it in and how they're bringing it in. So what it really comes down to is not, is it a gift or a grant? It's what does your institutional policy say about the difference between a gift or a grant? Because most universities actually do have a policy. Whether the offices are aware of the policy is another matter. But look up your institution's policy and procedure for processing gifts versus grants, and usually there will be a set of criteria defining gift and grant for your institution. That's what you really need to follow. If it turns out that that's not working, you really need to try and work with your development office so that both offices are on the same page with regard to following that guidance, and it's institutional guidance that most likely already exists. In a situation, there may be some situations where a document will fall into a gray area, where it could meet either criteria, and therefore your offices have to decide which of the two offices will process it. It's important to have an established procedure for making that decision, whether it's made by one office or the other, or the two directors of the offices get together and simply decide, our office will process this, and then it's over with, and then everybody knows, okay, this transaction is going there. And that's basically the issue associated with, is it a gift or a grant? Thank you.